So we stand in front of Dollar Tree and basically
such as this thing here.
All right, I'm excited to have a guest.
Look, this is metal right here, of course. Everyone is.
Cuba is like they're under a dictator.
All right, we are live for the Monday edition of the People's Talk Show. And as always, excited to be back. Hope everyone is doing well and had a great weekend and everything in between. And as always, man, looking forward to connecting this week and trying to just filter through some of the main headline stories today, try to make sense of it. Beyond that, find out what you guys are keeping your eyes on these days. And as always, try to be a source of encouragement, enlightenment, and anything in between. So hope everyone is doing well. So for those who are plugged in, if you haven't, please hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. Hopefully the algorithms are in my favor and notify more people so they can plug in with us as well. And then also, if you don't mind, hit that share button, put it out there so more people can find out about what we do over here from a contrarian viewpoint, and hopefully get people plugged in and so people can find out what the alternative side of things beyond all the mainstream media lies. So all right, got that out the way. All right, man. Let me just check in with the chat real quick. Let me know if my audio is doing okay. I want to make sure that everything is flowing as smooth as it can, even though any minute now something is subject to happen, just because it seems like that's what happens when you talk about juicy topics, such as what we're going to talk about this evening. And also, I want to make sure that I'm always trying to improve the quality of the show. And so I labeled it as the People's Talk Show, with the hopes of getting people interested in wanting to call in. But I noticed last couple of sessions, I get carried away in my rants and everything in between. And I never get a chance to actually get as many calls because I've missed more calls than I actually get a chance to talk to people. So I want to get better with that. So I don't know how to dial it back or how to, not get caught up in a rant, because it's just usually a free thought that comes to mind. And I like to let my thoughts flow freely as they come, because they usually have some type of, wisdom behind them. So but anyway, I'll do the best I can. But definitely, I want to hear from you guys, and also might do a little face-to-face this evening as well, where I get you guys a chance to plug in, be a face-to-face, and basically be a part-time, partial co-host type of situation. I think it's a good way to get a chance to meet people in the community, as well as give you guys a chance to let your voice be heard, or let your face be seen, depending on what happens. So, okay, let me acknowledge a couple of people. And then I'll get through. I got maybe 6, 7 different stories. Nothing really exciting, just more of what's happening in the mainstream economy and everything in between. But I'm definitely looking forward to find out what you guys keeping your eyes on. Just because at this current moment, it's the 22nd day in the first of the month, first of the year, and based upon now and where I think things might end up. It's just never going to be a dull moment. And that's why I'm like, all these stories, until something really pops off, they're just all, headline pieces, nothing major really. All right, we got Jay checking in. Appreciate you, man. We got Toya. Appreciate you as well. We got Juliet Larry. We got Daryl checking in. We got Gene. What else we got? B-Rad. He says, monster boxes, Ethereum, and Chainlink is my plan. Thanks for all you do, Mike. Appreciate you, man. I like that. That's a pretty good semi-diversified. You got the real tangible assets in the monster box. Then you got the digital distractions in the form of Ethereum and Chainlink. And of course, Ethereum is, more likely to pop off. But then again, Chainlink, of course, is an oracle. Everybody in the software community seems to be using it. So it has its use case. So, I'm sure that's a good strategy, man. And I've also been thinking about, on my end, because I'm sure just by a show of thumbs up in the chat for those who are tuned in right now. And also, if you're catching a replay, feel free to leave a comment. But, how many people in the community actually speculate in the digital asset space? I would be curious to find out. I might even do a survey or something just to find out how many people have broadened their investor approaches towards looking for opportunities in this current environment we're in now. So I'm curious to find out. So throw me a thumbs up if you guys do touch on the digital asset space. The reason I mentioned that is just because I was thinking earlier, because I follow a variety of subjects, projects, sectors, you name it. And there's a lot of things that I keep an eye on that interest me. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind sharing some things that I research with you guys if there's interest, but I don't want to just come out here, because I'm not like, one thing I don't want to do is like shield anything or, whatever, just because, it's not, I don't want to do that. But if I have a couple dollars in it, I don't mind telling my people about it. And so, Ebon, Dominic, thumbs up. Hi, Jeremy. How you doing? Please see the links in the description. I appreciate you, Gene. Rants are great. I appreciate you. And so the rants are great because to me, it's just free thought, things that come to mind. And the more I grab information from the chat and from the calls, it just formulates more thoughts. But then again, it takes away from the premise of the show, which was to get people involved. That's my focus with this show, is to get people involved because, when I do the Q&A sessions where I interview people or do my little short, 1 minute rants, those are my times of just trying to pour out things that come to mind. But, the goal is to talk to you guys as best I can. And as of right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm ranting more than I want to. So bear with me, man. I'm a work in progress. Okay, so let me just get right into it. Let me do some house cleaning real quick, just as far as some recommendations from my people. And as always, I'm going to always go back to 4patriots.com/RTD, just because you never know who might be new to the fold and who may not be aware of the importance of being prepared for all the things that's being thrown our way, from, the government's desire to scare people with disease X, as well as all the power outages, food short. I mean, you name it, they're throwing it all at us. And so 4patriots.com gives people a chance to stack up in increments, or if you want to go full steam ahead, they got everything you need. So as you guys can see on the screen here, they carry a variety of items here, all the way from old-fashioned chocolate pudding, plant-based protein survival kit. You got the whole eggs. You got 4 Patriots bountiful green plant foods. You got water sources here. You got water purifiers. And of course, you got their emergency 2,000 watt solar system. And of course, but I know I've had several blackouts, 24-hour type boys in the last couple of months. And I'm grateful to have a couple solar panel energy generators for myself. But anyway, so 4patriots.com/RTD. If you guys are interested, link is in the description. Check them out. Show them some love. And then also, because of all the craziness happening, you never can not have your med kit stacked as well. Because usually, like the ivermectin and stuff like that is good for, I think, a year, I was told. So, no, almost 2 years, depending on whatever. But at TWC/health/RTD, link is in the description, you can get yourself an emergency medical kit. And as it says here, get a prescription of medication needed for your survival. You get ivermectin, Z-Pack, amoxicillin, and more. And so you save 10% by using the code RTD at checkout. So if you guys are interested in finding out more, and of course, there's a lot of other things here as well that could be of use to you guys. So link is in the description. Check them out. Show them some love, and save 10% if you guys like with the code RTD. All right. Let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving. It's just, it's a blessing to be able to share with you things that I take advantage of. And so hopefully you guys feel the value as well. All right, man. Let's stop ranting. Let's get into some headlines, man. Some things that caught my attention, and let me know what you guys are thinking. And so this Supreme Court situation, it looks like Roberts and what's her name? Amy, whatever. Yeah. Those two justices apparently sided with the liberal left, in a sense, on allowing more of the Southern invasion. So it says Supreme Court rules 5-4 to allow Biden admin to cut Texas border barrier. And so I was thinking about this little decision that was made by our Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, for the most part, is looked at as the last line of defense when it comes to trying to, I guess, save our country or defend the Constitution or whatever their job is supposed to be. But then again, as I mentioned several times before, when we get further into this chaotic time frame, rule of law and the enforcement of law and everything in between will be brought into question. And this type of activity here lets us know, how could they justify, intervening inside of a state's activities around its own jurisdiction when it comes to protecting their borders, and overturn it, and for the most part, give the federal government legal action to be able to remove those barbed wire fences, everything in between. But then I also saw somebody comment on the Supreme Court and how at this current moment, they're pretty much irrelevant. And they were using the fact that the Supreme Court also ruled against Joe Biden, basically canceling all that student debt. But according to reports, he's still out here calling himself canceling all types of student debt. And so if the Supreme Court told him that was unconstitutional, he couldn't do it, how is he still doing it? So it's one of the things where, like, is the Supreme Court actually, is their ruling actually relevant in this current time frame? It all depends on who's trying to enforce it. So anyway, man, but love to get your guys' thoughts on this. Let me see here. Keep it moving. Okay. I see a lot of activity. What we got here? Who's a Jew? 313 says, we'll love to interview you, Mike. Reach out to me, man. Go to rethinkingthedollar.com. Look in the top left-hand corner. Shoot me an email. Let's connect. Definitely love to chit-chat with my fellow people out here. Appreciate you, man. Okay, here's another little something. Not really major, but then again, it just got me thinking because it's spun about from the possibility of the G7 nations basically stealing Putin's or Russia's assets, $300 or so billion. And so it looks like as a result of this, some of Putin's cabinet are whispering about them needing to reconsider basically, what's it called? Claiming stake to or questioning the validity of Alaska. And basically, like, they're looking to annex Crimea. Perhaps they might want to take Alaska back and claim that it was a fraudulent sale or something in 1867. But it says Putin stokes tensions with U.S., declares 1867 sale of Alaska illegal. And once again, reading through this article here, it's more of like just a attention getter. Doesn't give you any juicy nuggets or nothing like that, but it just gives a little bit of a history as to how Russia sold Alaska, or it says a brief history of Alaska became part of the United States. Russia sold it in 1867 for $7.2 million, a deal considered to be mutually beneficial at the time. It says nowadays Alaska, a detached piece of U.S., stands as one of the 50 states constituting the country and has been an integral part of it for over 150 years. Yada, yada, yada. So go down here. It just quotes a couple of things from Putin's cabinet, whatever. It's talking about before Americans seize our property abroad, they should remember we also have something to reclaim. And this was something that was said by the State Duma in 2022. And this is stemmed from a little recent order that was signed, which has more to do with Russia taking inventory of all their assets, not necessarily referring to Alaska, but all their other assets closer to Ukraine and places in Europe and stuff like that. Basically doing a head count of what they got and what's there so they know how to defend it outside of this $300 billion. So this is what this story is pretty much all about, but it's just entertaining to see that people are trying to basically say, if the U.S. steals that $300 billion, then Russia going to somehow, some way try to come back and get Alaska. So that will definitely be a mess because Russia, in that region could literally, they can cause a lot of damage on top of the other things that's happening in the world. So, but anyway, let's keep it moving. Here's another interesting headline here that shows how bad things are in the banking sector. And clearly, I haven't looked at the BTPF chart lately, but it's good to say that banks are still borrowing from that special vehicle. And it's supposed to end in, a month and a half? So we'll see. But anyway, as delinquencies spike, banks are granting fewer credit lines. So basically, from on a little side note, for my people who love utilizing debt to go out there and get monster boxes, they may be cutting down your credit lines pretty soon. So if you're gonna charge it, might as well go ahead and charge it now. But anyway, it just gives more information here that how the Federal Reserve is commenting. It says with the credit delinquency rates at its highest levels in more than a decade, getting approved for a new credit line is getting harder, the Fed analyst says. According to a new report from Philadelphia Fed, 3.19% of credit card balances were at least 30 days late, 30 days past due. That's up from 2.76 in the second quarter and the highest level since 2012. So the fact that more people are using their cards now just for mere survival and they're not paying them back lets us know that banks, they're not just about giving out free cash on their ledger. So they're reducing it. So don't be surprised if, more credit cards are, cut and credit is called back in. So just some things that caught my attention. And here's another interesting, funny one. Representative Jamal Bowman co-sponsors a 14 trillion slavery reparations bill. And so here's a little quote. There was a tweet that says, Jamal Bowman, and 8 other members of Congress are pushing for a reparations bill, which will cost 14 trillion. Says, when asked how they'll pay for this, Bowman said, quote, "We'll spend it into existence." And so what's the ideology behind, and I want to, I just feel like I'm, like name calling, or I don't know what it is, but what is it about, like just the certain Democrats at that, and they happen to be the same skin tone as me, just suggesting and saying stuff that's just stupid on the surface and underneath the surface. Like, everybody wants some votes. I mean, if I was running for something, I needed votes, I'll say stupid stuff too. But dang, like, we're just gonna spend it into existence. Like, we're already heading off a cliff, and he's talking about spending 14 more trillion, even though 14 more trillion will probably be created in his next banking crisis to prop up the banks and everything else. But it's not coming to you or us or me. But anyway, I'm like, I wouldn't even want a part of this 14 trillion. Just pay me in silver. I take gold too, but pay me in silver. I support this bill if I can get some type of amendment saying that, or silver eagles from the United States Mint. I'll sign that bill. I'll co-sponsor that. Anyway, that's just something that caught my attention. And then here's another interesting story as well. Second largest landowner is a CCP member. And people don't find anything wrong with that. And it says here, according to the report reviewed by Daily Caller, it's Shane, I'm not going to butcher his last name, founder, chairman of the CEO of global investment, Shanda Group, owns nearly 200,000 acres of land in Oregon. Yeah, 200,000 acres. So, yeah. And on top of what Bill Gates owned, between the CCP, what Bill Gates owned, they own pretty much everything that's not considered federal land. But what are they going to do with it? We'll find out. Okay, keep it moving. Just some things that caught my attention. And I thought this was just worth mentioning again, even though I did a little short, because they're literally framing this Disease X as the next event. They're telling us ahead of time. They're forewarning us what they're going to unleash. And then they say, as a part of their scare tactic, it's going to be 20 times deadlier than the previous. And then I saw people comment like, well, actuality, it was the flu the first time. So I'm like, if it was the flu the first time or whatever else it was, if it's 20 times deadlier, dangerous, I would imagine they're going to really spice it up a little bit. But the whole point is that they probably won't release it until everybody signed on to the treaty, and they want it done by May. So if there is a cause worth getting behind, is to, like, a hashtag, no international treaty, and let that boy go viral or something like that. So people can be like, oh, what treaty? What treaty? Oh, the treaty that our government's going to sign over our government and our health rights and everything in between. And then they're going to release something on us. That treaty I'm talking about. So, I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts on this. Feel free to have at it. We'll talk about it. And also, here's another little visual aid that I shared in a little short. But when it comes to Doomsday Prepper, not only do we got a lot of celebrities now, I showed a video of Rick Ross, talking about one-up at Elon Musk. I'm thinking like Elon Musk is, $240 billion net worth. And Rick Ross was like, maybe 100 million. He's talking about one-upping Elon Musk and putting a garage. Like, who the hell cares about garage in a bunker? Interesting, man. It's just entertainment, of course. But anyway, so here's an interesting little map here showing you as of now. It says more than 56% of Americans and Canadians have done something to prep for doomsday in the past 12 months. It says most Americans and Canadians believe that a natural disaster is most likely to cause an apocalyptic scenario in their lifetime. It says only 2% of Americans and Canadians feel fully prepared. So I'm like, okay, I wonder what the criteria is to feel fully prepared. Like, how do you feel fully prepared? What do you have to have? Unless you literally have a uber wealthy bunker with everything in between it. If you can replace your entire life above ground, beneath ground, to me that would be prepared, because you can disappear for a couple months and sustain yourself. But if you ain't got a bunker, you ain't prepared. And even with a bunker, they got bunker busters. So, on top of it, I'm thinking like, say for example, this is off topic, this is a rant, but I'm thinking like, how about if the Lord returned during that time you're in a bunker? Of course, if you're a member of the body of Christ, you'll be caught up. But then again, it's like, that's just weird to think about. Like, you call yourself hiding, but you're not really hiding from the one who matters most. Anyway, but just a little map here. It just talks about the United States with the most doomsday. And so just check out your state. Let me know what state you in and see if you fall into that category. Because here in Michigan, we're about 15%. So it says U.S. states with the most doomsday prepper. So it's 15% here in Michigan. And of course, Maine, Nebraska, and Arizona are the most prepared states. And then Mississippi is 33. So where do you fall in on the category? It looks like people out west aren't deemed as being prepared or not as prepared as much. So, and then it says that which of these do you believe to be the most likely apocalyptic scenarios in your lifetime? A natural disaster, an economic collapse, a pandemic, a nuclear war, all of the above, or two other. And so according to this graph here, 44, according to the people surveyed, let me find out the details. Okay, so U.S. and Canadian, whatever, we conducted a survey of 5,000 people, 3,000 residents in the U.S., 2,000 in Canada. So 5,000 total. And this is what they came up with. Do you identify as a prepper? 91% said yes. And then it says, what's the likelihood of one of these events happening in your lifetime? 44% says natural disaster, which to me is a more normal and natural reason to prepare. Lights go out, power go out, food not available, natural disaster, earthquake come through. Okay. Economic collapse, that's very rare and far-fetched in between, happen every once a lifetime. So being prepared for that, what do you do? Gold, silver, whatever else you speculate with, having no debt, guns, ammo, stuff like that. Health situation. For the most part, the health situation that they're trying to prepare the world for, it's relatively new. And it has more to do with covering up the economic collapse, and they're using natural disasters, man-made, of course, but also the banking system and the monetary restructuring is underway. And on top of that, just a merger of public-private partnerships, i.e. the world order they're trying to form is the reason they're using pandemics. And then, of course, the nuclear war, 12%. And if a nuke drop, even the bunker's not going to hold up. So, like, how do you get prepared? Just, say your prayers and just, see you in heaven, like just ride out type of thing. So, so that's just, some things that caught my attention. And then we all heard about Desantis. So we got Vivek and Desantis out. And for whatever reason, Haley is calling herself still running as if like anybody's voting for her. She's like a puppet of the puppets. But anyway, it's just interesting to see how this presidential race, selection race is turning out as if there's ever a contest on the GOP side. So once again, if this is continues to play out, Trump is just sweeping through the country. Everybody's backing him. And it's unfortunate. Even Tucker Carlson is talking about the threat of him being taken out, unfortunately. And that'd be very sad. But then again, yeah. Okay. What else we got here? Oh, another little story about what's happening in this new economy that's forming. I've been thinking a lot about a lot of this Main Street activity and the deliberate attack against the family, the labor force, the financial structure, the health system. I mean, every area of our life is being restructured and retested right now. And I'm thinking, like, literally, we are in a new economy, 100%, where the tactics, strategies, even the educational system that was given to us 20, 30 years ago, that industrial mindset is irrelevant. Like, literally, like, after this next little hiccup, collapse, restructuring, whatever it's going to be called in the history books, we come out on a whole other side of and in need of an entirely new paradigm as to how each individual exchanges value into the world. And even if we're allowed to, because the way they're setting this up is you won't be able to participate into society unless you got your social credit score is high, you're digitally plugged into their systems, and you're up to date with all your health stuff. If you want to participate in the society they're creating, that's what you're going to be required to have. So then again, like, you won't be able to participate in mainstream economy. So you're going to have the underground economy, like, and the opportunities that come from that. So that in of itself is a problem that needs solutions. So I've been thinking about, okay, how can I, prepare myself mentally as well as offer, some solutions to others heading into this new world economy that is being are done right in front of us. But here's a little headline that came out this is today. It says Vroom. I never even heard of Vroom until I saw the fact they're cutting 800 jobs. Wind down used vehicle e-commerce business. So I don't even know what Vroom is, but I know one thing: 800 people are right now, making some tough decisions right now. That's one thing I see. Anyway, that's what it is, man. That is just some headlines that caught my attention this afternoon. And as always, this is the time where you, my people, get a chance to let your voice be heard. And so I'm going to open up these phone lines. And the goal is feel free, call in, share what's on your mind. And while I'm at it, let me just go ahead and get a little face-to-face link. And you guys can call in and join me face-to-face. And it's just more so just checking with me, man. I love to be able to meet new people and just see what's on your radar. And while you're at it, hit that thumbs up button. And give me 1 second here. I always be heard. All right, we got a call. Let's get this call in here. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Hey, Mike from Climate, California.
Mike from Cali. What's going on, my friend? Give me some good news.
Have you heard about this, what is it, ultra-low emission zones?
Ultra-low emission zones. No, I have not. Educate me, please.
So they got this thing going on in London right now. And they got these little cameras that go in and if you're driving a petrol car, they'll go and send you a bill every time you pass if you're driving past your limit or whatever. Now, I'm just wondering if you talked to your boy Moneko at all about it, or if he had anything about it, But what these guys are doing, these guys are called Blade Runners. They're going around, they're masking up, and they're going around and cutting these poles down with these cameras that cost $7,000 per camera, or they're putting a sticker on the thing, or painting it, or the people had enough, Mike. So when we go talk about a digital currency and stuff like that, this is what I think of. This is what I think the revolt's gonna look like. People are gonna cut every copper cord that there is. Every phone line will be down.
Yeah.
Like, you can't implement a system if the infrastructure's not there. Like, so.
Yeah. So real quick. So I have seen reports about people putting stickers and stuff on the cameras, and I want to say, so that's in the UK, but then again, there's another thing with the surveillance state that's taking place in New York, where there's a region in New York where, or even I think it's downtown Manhattan, stuff like that. They're ticketing people using the cameras. So the cameras, the closed caption cameras, they're literally scanning license plates and sending people tickets for. Was it like using like just driving in the city during certain time frames or something like that? It was crazy. Where I'm like, that's in New York. Go ahead.
I got another one you could look up. The people that how they're combating that in New York.
They're
putting little magnets of like leaves, or like super gluing like a piece of paper on there, or something that just blocks half of their license plate. You could look that up too. So it's just one little magnet or something on the thing, or they paint over a gloss, so like when it takes a picture, it only shows a bright light.
Yeah.
Like there's ways of defeating these infrastructure systems, like so gloom and doom, beware.
Yeah.
And let's just say if we're going to be in a commodity super cycle, like I know tweakers sure like that copper, and copper sure is required for a bunch of this infrastructure. So we get $10 a pound copper. I don't know how much of this infrastructure is actually going to be going down. So
right.
So there's ways to fight this on the ground level, like that people are doing. I don't condone violence or nothing.
Right. I understand. But hey, man,
there's just.
I appreciate you calling and keeping us up to date with that. Like I was aware of it, but I don't think I've talked about it all. So thanks for calling in, my friend.
Yeah, you guys could look up Blade Runners. They're the guys that they dress up in dinosaur suits and go and block the cameras too. Like if they don't if they're not the type to go cut the cameras down, they're having fun with it too. So they just go and stand in front of the camera with the dinosaur costume.
Bet. Let me see. Blade Runner take action. Okay. All right, man. Appreciate you calling. I following the Blade Runners right now. Appreciate you.
Keep it easy. Keep your weight up, huh?
All right, for 100%, man. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, good stuff. Appreciate the call. So here, Blade Runners take action after London installs cameras to track, find drivers in name of climate. Yeah. So yeah, think about this. Like, man, all these cameras going up globally. That's the thing. Like, they globally, the cameras up everywhere, making sure they see and track and trace everything. All right, phone lines are open. Give me a call. What else is on the radar? Or feel free to throw out some thoughts, ideas, suggestions in the chat, and we'll touch on it. What other subjects worth bringing to the forefront? Let me make sure the phone is available, and we'll make it work. Okay, so we checking the chat real quick. And for those who are plugged in, definitely, as I always say, hit the thumbs up button, show your love for the channel. And then, of course, while I'm at it, I want to make sure I remind people, if you're interested in supporting the channel, there's some information in the description where you can contribute, i.e. a donation in many forms, just to show your support for the channel. And of course, it helps me on the back end. So that is definitely appreciated. So what else we got here in the chat? And also, I put that link out there for face-to-face if anybody want to connect with your boy. Drone Zone. The speed cameras on catch minorities. The speed camera on catch minorities. It happened to me in Elk Grove, Cali. Really, they got you, Johnny. They got you. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from? Hello?
Yeah, Mike. Steve Emery denied.
Steve, what's going on, my friend?
Not too much, buddy. Yeah, I'll start off with Acts chapter 4, verse 12.
Okay, go ahead.
Salvation. This is referring to Jesus. Salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we must be saved. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get that in there.
Appreciate it. It's the word of the day. I got you. Appreciate it.
Hey, have you seen this clip where Trump is saying that he won't allow CBDC?
Oh yeah, good point. Yes, I did. Man. So, like, one thing that bothers me about this whole campaign procedure that they go through is that he's literally out here telling people what they want to hear, A, and then B, any type of attack or approach that he's putting out there, it's literally like it gives the enemy, your opponents, a way to combat it, to make sure, like, if you talk all these things you're gonna do, you're unraveling everything that they're trying to accomplish. Do you really think they're gonna let you in the White House? Like, do you really think they're gonna let this go smoothly? Like, it's one thing, like, you shut your mouth and just work quietly and just get things done, but you telling the world what you're gonna do, and it goes against what everything they stand for. Like, but once again, that's why I'm not buying into it. I know this is all part of the psyop, but anyway, I don't want to rant on it. Go ahead.
Yeah. We already saw what Nora Harari had to say about that. What did he say? If Trump gets into the White House, that's the death blow to the New World Order. Yeah. So it sounds like they will try to get him out of there by any means necessary.
100%.
Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we forget who's running. Who's been given permission to run this world? This is the devil's playground.
Right.
As it says in Matthew chapter 4, where the devil himself tempted Jesus. Chapter 4, verse 1 through 11. He offered Jesus the entire world, the kingdom, and that did not eliminate the United States either.
All governments were included. And I offer given to him, all governments were included.
Correct. If people just wake up, just like the movie, Leave the World Behind, that believers and non-believers watch that movie, and everybody kind of comes to the conclusion, hey, there's something going on there.
Yeah.
There's something going on here. But if people take that movie and look at these other things the same way, the same way as in the movie, all of this stuff is right there in front of their face.
Yeah.
Example. The Washington Monument is an Egyptian phallic symbol. And those things are worldwide.
Yeah.
Albert Pike in D.C. wrote the book Morals and Dogma, which he dedicated the book to Lucifer, and it also contained describes the 3 world wars. Yeah, the Rolling Stones song "Pleased to Meet You." Listen to that carefully and what it's saying.
Yeah.
Satanic symbols on the money. The EU building 666 United Nations Plaza.
Yeah.
Everybody can look all of this stuff up. The streets of DC laid out in the pentagram, with the White House sitting at the mouth of it.
Yeah.
The Lucifer telescope on Mount Graham. The Pentagon is shaped.
Hey man.
The Pentagon is shaped as a pentagram.
Yeah. You dropping too many truth bombs, man. You might mess around and get me kicked off YouTube, man. But no, let me get some more calls in. I appreciate you. Let me get a couple more people in now.
All right, God bless, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Later.
All right, before I get to a call, let me get to a face-to-face. So who do I have here joining me?
My name is Mike. Nice to meet you. How you doing, Mike?
Mike. Nice to meet you, Mike. Nice background. Were you you in a dungeon?
I'm in, I guess, what is it, like, I don't know, some kind of mystical place. But yeah, basically, I'm, my mind, I'm thinking about, it seems like, at least from the news I've been hearing it, things like that, that the people who are pushing back are actually doing a lot of damage. They're getting a lot of things put forward that are causing problems for the globalists to have to fight, and it's I feel like we're actually kind of turning the tide and we're actually winning.
Yeah,
even especially in the realm of like the trans issue or other issues that like we're just getting so much progress, but they're still fighting for it. They're still fighting to destroy this world. The the people in the media and things like that are really pushing for it, but it's like if you have half a brain, you can't sit and listen to that. You know what I mean? So I feel like the more exposure we can get to that, the better it'll be for everybody to be, and the harder we'll push back.
Yeah, and that's why I would like to always keep a smidget of hope that we can prolong this craziness, because we can't stop it in its entirety. Because I believe from a spiritual standpoint, there's a chain of events that must occur to get us to our final destination as a human species. But I don't want it to happen like this.
Sure.
I would like to be a part of something that can bring about the change that I want to see in the world, like Gandhi said. But
absolutely,
it just. But then again, I want to be realistic. I know that there is an enemy, i.e., Satan, Lucifer. That there's evil in the world that literally is trying to. Yeah, kill, steal, and destroy. So it's I want to be realistic, but then again, I want to be hopeful. Like it's that balance of like, yeah. But I wish everybody luck, man. I want people to continue to fight as best you can. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I was going to say, but without the same idea that like we can be hopeful, but we don't want to be foolhardily. We don't want to be going in there thinking, oh, we're going to win, and then like I know we do win in the end, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to. You want to fight as much as you can for what you have and for what we've earned.
Right.
So
right, and that's the thing. Like, what would a win look like in this life, given all the circumstances, given how everything is destined to play out? What would a win look like in this life, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I'm focused specifically on like converting people, and in a sense, like evangelism, things like that, trying to get more and more people into the kingdom, and so that we're saving souls, and I want to push it back at least 120, 200 years, whatever. Like I want to keep us fighting and keep us having a lot more people that come into the kingdom eventually.
Yeah. Hey, man. That was an answer I wasn't expecting. So that right there, definitely that right there, like that's the win of wins. So yeah, man, I like that, man. But no, appreciate you joining me, man. I want to definitely get some more calls, but thank you for being courageous enough to join me and share your thoughts, and of course share your faith as well. So I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. See you.
Have a good one. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Always good to have people in the community joining me face to face. So I did miss some calls, forgive me, but the face to face get first priority over calls. So if you want to let your voice be heard, I'll put that face to face out there again so you guys can join me. Anyway, let's have at it. Give me a call. Once again, I apologize for the calls, but I had a legitimate excuse. I had somebody on air. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Mike. How you doing? This is Tony from Oakland.
TB, how you doing, boss?
Man, I am blessed today because we almost had one to put the lights out. You didn't know about it?
Hold on. What you talking about? Give me. I didn't know about it. Bring it to the table. What we got?
We had a CMB, man, that went south instead of directly at Earth that was 5 times bigger than Earth.
Oh, really? Let me look
and
this
they ain't
up.
going to tell you about it.
Let me see. Okay, give me so yeah, I didn't hear nothing about it. So go ahead.
It's on Noah's website.
Noah's
website.
Noah's website?
Yeah, NOAA. Everybody should go look that up. The reason everybody's building bunkers is because they know that there is every 12,000 years come around, the Earth does a rotation on its axis, and the magnetic poles shift.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we create the Grand Canyons. That's how we get the Rocky Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get all these other things that we don't know how it happened.
Right.
It's because the Earth has flipped. And now we're at our 12,000 year point,
mm-hmm.
and it's going to flip again. And my belief is that they know about this,
mm-hmm.
and they fully expected this to come. This is my opinion. I'm going to put it out there, my opinion.
Yeah.
They fully recognize this, and they figured a little early. They figured it happened around 2020. That's why they're scrambling now,
mm-hmm.
is my opinion,
mm-hmm.
is why they're scrambling now in order to try to capture some of that they thought was going to be lost. But this thing is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's when. They put it somewhere around, I've read and I've heard and I've listened that they put it around somewhere around 2030, 2040 time frame. But I think that they second guessed themselves and put it at the 2020 time frame is why they shut down everything and had everybody pigeonhole where they were at. Because when this thing goes off, you're wherever you are. Mm-hmm. Ain't no sense of, you can't get to Montana from Chicago.
Yeah.
There will be none of that. So you are where you are. And people need to start prepping for when the lights go out and all you have is caveman style, caveman status.
Okay. Man, that's a lot to unpack there. So like as you're describing these events that they're afraid of and that they are aware of, the very first thing comes to my mind of events of this magnitude that I'm aware of. And I actually looked it up a little bit. And I was looking at the 7 trumpets and the events that occur in Revelation, and talking about, a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, a third of the star, so that a third of them was darkened, a third of the day did not shine, the night likewise. So I'm thinking about all these natural changes that will occur. Like, could this also be kind of linked into the concerns as well? They, because the same people you're referring to are the same ones that are aware of the Satanism and all the one world government, the market of beast, all that stuff like that. They're also aware of that as well. And so how could this all be interlinked? You know what I'm saying? Like, they realize, so this biblical prophecy that literally they're trying to prepare for as well. What are you thinking?
No, because they tell you, they told you everything in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
They give you, in my opinion, again, I mean, please don't chastise me for this. My opinion is the book that everybody calls the Bible is a book that the original people that were here used the stars in order to navigate, in order to tell weather, because there was no cell phone back then. So they used the stars, and then the people that we talk about that know this sort of stuff and regurgitate it, they stole that information, wrote themselves into the book, and then handed it back to us to get us to believe that this is what thus said the Lord.
Okay.
And we fall for it. Now, I'm not saying everything in the Bible's fake. I'm just saying that they regurgitated it back to us and gave us what they wanted us to have in the Gutenberg Bible.
Okay, I mean, anything's possible.
And they know what is coming.
Yeah, anything is possible. And that's where, like, a lot like the information you're sharing and the information I was hinting at, it's how we formulate our beliefs and our opinions and everything in between. And so, like,
Right.
what is truth? We're going to find out. Like, that's one thing is guaranteed. We will all find out what is true and what's not. So, but I hear you though, man. But go ahead.
And then I'm going to tell you one more that and I'll let you go. Let somebody else get in here.
Yeah.
The atom on the element chart is what number?
The atom on the element chart? For what element? 6.
Okay.
Well,
Takes 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons to make up a human being.
Okay. I'm not aware of those calculations offhand, so I'll take your word at it.
Yeah. You do that. I'm asking you to do. I'm asking anybody to do the research. But,
okay.
That's your 666.
Okay. The mark of the beast.
Look it up, brother. I'm gonna let you go though. Let somebody else get in.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Good talking at you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. So that is. I mean, that's some real stuff, man. So I pulled up. Let me see. I pulled up that solar. Where does it go? Where'd it go? There we go. Could a solar storm this week cause tech disruptions? Like a solar storm. Like there's nothing that the governments, the powers that be, can actually stop. If it's like literally, I would consider this a God-sanctioned event because it's coming from beyond our atmosphere and sweeping through this planet. If it does occur the way that they're, predicting it. I mean, because my assumption is, without even know, I don't even get into like this level of information just because. There's nothing I can do about it. So it's like, that's one less thing to worry about. But, I'd imagine since this entire sphere, if that's what it, if this is all what it is painted to be, then we've been having flares and all types of stuff for a long time. And I question, the science that's given to us, knowing that it's already swayed to their advantage because they're the sources of this information, to where they be throwing out dates and times. Like TB, you mentioned 12,000 years, and I'm like, of course there's documentation and stuff like that, but it's like, I mean, it can take me down rabbit holes that are just not worth going down for me. Because it's like when people, you got the creationists and you got the evolutionists. Whenever I hear people throw out, whenever I watch an interview or I hear somebody talk, and their first thought is, Earth is 25 billion years old. I'm like, I turn it. I'm like, this guy, like he, because I can't relate to it because I'm more of a creationist. And so like to throw out numbers like that, I'm like, dude, like that's not from you. Like you did not, that information did not originate from you because you say 52 billion years old. The next guy with the PhD going to say 45. So who right? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm ranting about. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. But my point is, like, these are events that could occur, and there is no real such thing as being prepared for them other than the practical things that's within your reach. Because anything outside of your reach and your control immediately, it's all on God anyway. So whether it happens or it don't, whether it's, things you can control or you can't, it's all on God. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like it's all dependent upon him. And that's where I'm like, don't worry, be of good courage. Trust in the Lord. 100. The documentation is being researched in Antarctica. Okay. TB, I'll be curious to find out more about that. So if you come across that, shoot me the email and I'll definitely look at that, just because the Antarctica is a very interesting story. So there's there's two theories I have, which I'm very confident. And it's not too often I can say I'm like 100% right, but there's two things I'm confident in for me in this life. Two things that I won't experience. I will not get a chance to venture down into Antarctica and to go within Antarctica. Period. And I will not be allowed to leave this atmosphere. So no matter what happens up there or down there, I won't know about it because I won't get a chance to see it in this life, more than likely. And neither will you. And I wonder why that is, why that's intentionally being done. We got all this chaos happening around the world, supposedly, on every planet. We all, 8 billion people, we can't get along. But then again, everybody trying to go build colonies up there, and nobody talks about going down there. That's the only untapped resources, naturally rich resource that we have left, and they're trying to keep that to themselves. And all countries are able to come into an agreement that they don't talk about down there, and they don't go down there. What's down there? So I was like, yeah, there's a lot of things that we'll never find out in this life. Going out of space and going down south is two of those things. But then again, I could be wrong. Appreciate the love offering. It says that's a sticker. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. What else we got? Only Hollywood fell apart. Domino effect. Antarctica does not appear on the UN flag, which is FE map Google image it. Yeah, I just the internet, man. The internet. If you go looking for stuff, you'll find it, and if you go find it, you'll see some stuff where you be like, I don't really know if I really believe what I'm being told. When you're deliberately not allowed to go within Antarctica, you can take a cruise down there for 10,000, 15,000, but you can't go venture off on your own. You and your homies on a weekend. Then they'll say it's too cold. Oh, really? Admiral Byrd. Go look up the General Admiral Byrd, like all his video footage. It's a lot of green down there. I wonder what else is down there. Point in case is there's a lot more than what we'll ever know. And unfortunately, I fell into the category of being one of the people who don't think this thing is a round circle. I just don't believe it. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. What else we got? Who tells them? NASA. Like NASA, yeah, NASA, man, NASA is literally like Hollywood. Like literally, like I just watch this. Let me share this. Watch this. I saw this. Let me see it. I saw this. Let me grab it real quick. Where am I go? I saw something that really tripped me out, made me laugh. NASA. Oh, let me bring this up now. Look at this. It says NASA postpones plans to send humans to the moon. So, mind you, NASA hasn't been to the moon ever, in my opinion. But according to the information and stuff they fed us, it was 1963, whatever time frame that was, and Kennedy was the last time we went to the moon. And there's been so many excuses as to why we can't. And so what it says here, what we got here says Eugene, who visited the moon in 1972, was the last person to walk on the Earth's nearest neighbor. So once again, Eugene, I don't know, I never knew about that in 1972. So once again, it's postponed until 2026. And I would be willing to bet between now and 2026, we're going to have a lot more problems and concerns than sending people to the moon. So, yeah. Excuses. Yeah, I've seen that too. If you look at any of those logos for any of those entities, they are questionable, to say the least. All right, let's get a call. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve Beamer, Region 9 again, bro.
Steve, give it to me. What you got, man?
Hey, I forgot to give you this. It was from August 9th, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Federal Reserve docket number OP1670. Once again, that's Federal Reserve docket number OP1670.
Yeah, what about it?
And what it talks about is I just read the main economic attributes of a technically effective currency rest on three functions. Mm-hmm. They're talking about digital stuff.
Yeah.
A unit of account, a store of value, and a medium of exchange. They list three in this docket, mm-hmm. but they add a fourth. I don't know why they just didn't say four, but they labeled those three, and then there's a fourth one, and the last one is a means of social control.
Really?
a means of social control. Yeah, that's Federal Reserve docket number OP 1670.
All right, do me a favor. Send that to me via email real quick, if you can. If you
Okay.
because I'll pull it up because I'll know I'll be taking too long to find it. But if you don't mind sending it to me, I'll share it. If not tonight, tomorrow night.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, and the last thing before I go to, I would trust no man or no woman on this planet over that Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't trust a man or a woman over that Bible. It's been 100% accurate, telling the beginning from the end.
Yeah.
And to me, it I think God is smart enough to keep His Bible intact.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Or keep all the most important, relevant stuff that really matters for your individual salvation intact. Because regardless of all the extracurriculars, it's either Jesus Christ is or he wasn't, or he is or he isn't.
Correct.
If he is the beginning and the end, the Savior, the Son of God, died for your sins, then you're good. That's the most important part of the entire book for me in this life right here.
Absolutely, my brother. And on that, I'll let you go.
Appreciate you, man. Have a good night, boss.
Take care.
Yep.
Later.
Good stuff. Yeah, man. God did. Man, I'm just that Rick Ross video, man. It was fun to make. I was trying to get some laughs and giggles, but he was like, he's just so animated. He's just an animated guy. Bunker. Elon Musk. I gotcha. What if there wasn't a Bible? Which is very true. But then again, if there wasn't a Bible, then again, there'll be no standard. Then there'll be no standard or criteria which men could to be held accountable to. Therefore, to be free reign. And if it was literally free reign with no standard of moral value, excellence, or nothing, just the core tenets of the law, the first 10 commandments, just those 10 commandments have been utilized through modern civilization for all government structures, even though we're far away from it. But just, thou shalt not kill, steal, destroy, thou shalt have no other God. Like, if you remove that part, thou shalt not kill, destroy, those are all social economic values that are just core tenets for civilization. So without those, mankind would literally, there wouldn't be much of a compass to guide our day-to-day activities, because it'd be free willy on everything. So that'd be very different. I can't say, I couldn't imagine not having some type of moral compass to use as a guide. But thank God, through the law being fulfilled in Christ, now the Holy Spirit lives on the inside of us, which takes on a whole other form of a compass that we're supposed to be led by daily. So it's interesting. Who knows, man? But that's where I'm like, I personally, I'm not the, inquisitive type where I need to know those type of answers. It's above my pay grade, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really, if it's not like directly related to my salvation in general, everything else, I'll let people have their opinions on, because, it's beyond me. So I don't need to be right or wrong in that department. Will be the Great Flood story. Rolf, I'm not familiar with the Epic of Gilgamesh. I've heard of it, but once again, I don't go like diving deep, just because you tend to be led astray more than you are to be edified and encouraged. And that's just not something that I'm familiar with. So I don't tend to go down that far of a rabbit hole, even though there could be truth there. But yeah, what good would that truth be? Like, adding extra truth on top of whatever is your core principles of faith, it can do more damage than good at the end of the day, because the deceiver would love to confuse believers into thinking that maybe if you take a bite of this apple, it won't be that bad. You'll know good and evil. Maybe God, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I try to be cautious on going too deep, because some things aren't just meant to not be known about. And so it can easily twist and distort your theology. And I can go down a rabbit hole. Yeah. speaking of theology, I was literally, I was in Utah, Salt Lake, a couple days ago, and from that, I'm not sure how my wife got me thinking. We were talking about the Mormons, and I was reading the Bible in a hotel, looking for John Smith, looking for the Latter-day Saints Bible, whatever, just to see what words were different. And so we got it talking about polygamy and stuff like that. And actually, since then, watched a video or two and seeing how thick it is in Utah. And I'm thinking that's the primary example of the formation of an ideology that distorted truth. So John Smith took the Bible, twisted it, tweaked it for his own personal uses, incorporated his own interpretations and prophecies or whatever, and created a whole different lineage of theology now that got people getting married, getting 20, 30 wives, and it's a family called the Kingston family. I'm ranting a little bit, but it's just stuff I just found about with the last couple of days that I didn't know about. But the Kingston family run Utah, and they got their hands in everything. But they all cousins, brothers, and sisters, and they incest. It's just I just didn't know about this stuff. But that's a form of theology that has gone rampant to where people justify having 30, 40 wives. It's I'm gonna stop, leave it at that. But anyway, the internet got folks thinking they're scholars. The internet will do that to you. I did read a great. This is from Jim Rome, I think it was. The late great Jim Rome, public speaker, motivational speaker. I think he mentioned that just by reading 3 books, reading a subject on 3 books would technically classify you as an expert in that field, because within those 3 books, given the source and validity of those books, you'll have more applicable knowledge than an average person, which means that you can then, from that knowledge, create a service, or something like that off of it. You know what I'm saying? So, it used to be books, now it's the internet. So, what else we got? All right, well, I don't know, I'm just ranting, man. But anyway, it's been an hour, man. Had to get some laughs in. I enjoyed it. All right, so what we got? Yeah, so for those who checking in, I appreciate you guys. So blessed with your presence. As always, click the links in the description for all the resources you need. And as always, we'll make sure if you guys want to be a blessing to this community, as always, I'll never say no. Financial support is definitely welcome and appreciated, because it helps me. And also it encourages me. It shows me that there's people out there that find value in the community, my rants, the information, or whatever. So consider being a contributor via donation. Link is in the description. And if not, just your presence is a blessing in of itself. And I pray that God blesses you for blessing me with your presence and everything in between. So you guys have a great night. Be blessed, be safe, and I will see you tomorrow, Lord willing. Shalom.